Call to order this regular meeting of the Lincoln-Lancaster County Planning Commission of July 22nd, 2020. A printed agenda is available outside the hearing room, and a copy of the full agenda, including the staff reports, is available at the front of the chambers with the clerk. The Open Meetings Act is posted just inside the doors at the back of the room. In order to meet the required social distancing protocols, we must limit the number of people inside the chambers. Staff is assisting individuals who are present and wish to testify on items on today's agenda by ensuring that each person has signed in. Staff will direct you into the chambers based on what items you are testifying on and your position on that item. We are requiring attendees in the chamber to sit in a socially distanced manner 6 feet apart from other people not in your immediate group. If there are more than 25 people attending for a particular agenda item, staff will bring additional attendees into the chamber as people testify and then leave the chambers. Once you have testified, you should exit the chambers using the doors to the right of the desk, and then the next testifier can come to the microphone and begin testifying. In addition, for the added protection of all those involved, the Planning Commission will be allowing testimony on agenda items by video conference for individuals who pre-registered with the Planning Department prior to today's hearing. This testimony will be taken following the completion of the live testimony for each item based on position. Based on estimations, we are staggering the times of various hearings over several hours. These times are identified in parentheses on the agenda. We are encouraging attendees to arrive no more than 15 minutes before their scheduled hearing. Please note that an agenda item will not begin before the time posted. In the event that the allocated hearing times go quicker than estimated, there will be breaks in the hearing. If you parked in the parking garage across the street to the north, the gate is open and no parking coupons are needed. Out of courtesy for those attending this meeting, commissioners, and the staff, cellular phone usage is not permitted in these chambers during any portion of this meeting. We appreciate your cooperation. Please note that the Planning Commission action today is final on the following agenda items. 1.3, Special Permit 17030A. 1.4, Special Permit 20023. 1.5, Special Permit 20024, 1.6, Waiver 20003, and 4.2C, Preliminary Plat 20002. Any aggrieved person may appeal final action of the Planning Commission to the City Council or the County Board by filing a notice of appeal with the clerk within 14 days following the action of the Planning Commission. The Planning Commission action on all other items is a recommendation to the City Council or County Board. The first item of business is the approval of the minutes of the regular meeting held July 8th, 2020.
Move to approve Campbell.
Second, Beckius.
Jerry?
Okay, Campbell?
Yes.
Edgerton?
Yes.
Joy?
Yes.
Ryman Yost?
Yes.
Scheer?
Yes.
Beckius?
Yes.
Core?
Yes.
Motion carried 7-0.
The next item of business is the consent agenda. Items on the consent agenda will be called at the same time and will not be scheduled for a separate public hearing unless there is a request from someone wishing to speak or at the request of a commission member. I will ask Jerry to read all of the consent agenda items into the record. Once those items are read, she will ask if there is anyone wishing to speak. If you wish to speak on an item on the consent agenda, we would ask that you stand and state that item. That item will then be removed from the consent agenda and scheduled as a separate public hearing under Section 3 of today's agenda. All items remaining on the consent agenda will be voted upon in total with a motion for approval. Jerry, will you please call the items on the consent agenda?
Yes, thank you. Before I do that, I would just note that we did not have any Zoom registrants for today's hearing on any of these items. And also, I would note that Commissioner Scheer has declared a conflict of interest on item 1.3, Special Permit 17030A, and will recuse himself from taking action on today's consent agenda. Item 1.1 is Comprehensive Plan Conformance 20011 to review as to conformance with the Lincoln-Lancaster County Comprehensive Plan, a request to declare 2.38 acres of City of Lincoln-owned property as surplus on property generally located at 635 J Street. Item 1.2A is annexation 20011 to annex approximately 24.65 acres, and the associated change of zone 05068G from AG Agricultural District to R3 Residential PUD, to expand the existing PUD by 24.65 acres for an additional 80 single-family and attached single-family dwelling units with waivers to the zoning and subdivision ordinances, both on property generally located at South 84th Street and Yankee Woods Drive. Item 1.3 is special permit 17030A to allow for a medical clinic space in addition to a combination of office space and dwelling units associated with the designated landmark on property generally located at 2202 South 11th Street. Item 1.4 is special permit 20023 to allow for the sale of alcohol for the consumption off the premises on property generally located at 945 South 27th Street. Item 1.5 is special permit 20024 to allow for the expansion of a non-conforming use with waivers to the front and rear yard setbacks on property generally located at 2200 Winthrop Road. And the last item is item 1.6, waiver 20003 to waive subdivision ordinance requirements pertaining to block length and for permanent dead-end streets not ending in a cul-de-sac on property generally located at 235 Southwest 32nd Street. I would note that this is final action on items 1.3, 1.4, 1.5, and 1.6. Are there any ex parte communications to be disclosed?
I don't see any.
Are there any ex parte communications that took place or additional information you learned while visiting the site?
I think we have an ex parte.
I just wanted to disclose that I have read the request for proposal on the last item on the consent agenda.
Okay, the waiver.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, noted.
Tracy, a question.
Yes.
Jerry, because one's a comprehensive plan conformance and the other is an annexation, they can both have the same number?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
thank you.
they can. Yes.
Any other ex parte communications? Okay. Is there anyone here wishing to speak on any of these consent agenda items? No? Okay, I'd entertain a motion.
I would move that we accept all of the consent agenda as presented, the comprehensive plan conformance 20011, the annexation 20011, the change of zone 05068G, the special permit 17030A, special permit 20023, the special permit 20024, and the waiver 20003.
Second, Joy?
Jerry?
Okay, this is for the approval of the consent agenda. Campbell,
Yes.
Edgerton,
Yes.
Joy,
Yes.
Ryman Yost,
Yes.
Beckius,
Yes.
Core.
Yes.
Motion carried 6-0.
There are no requests for deferral, so we will now proceed to public hearing. The staff will make a brief presentation, followed by those who wish to testify in support, followed by those who wish to testify in opposition. The staff will then be given an opportunity to respond to the testimony, and then the applicant shall have an opportunity for rebuttal. If, during your testimony, you have copies of documents or materials you would like distributed to the Planning Commission and/or included as part of the record, please provide that information to the clerk for distribution. Each person testifying should state their name and address and shall have 5 minutes to speak unless additional time is requested and granted. The timer will go off after 4 minutes, then you will have 1 minute to wrap up your testimony. The Planning Commission will vote immediately at the close of the public hearing unless the Commission votes to defer action or continue the public hearing. Jerry, please call the first public hearing item.
Okay, we have 3 associated items. Item 4.2A is annexation 20006 to annex an area southwest of Southwest 56th and West O Street. The associated change of zone 20011 from AG Agricultural District to H3 Highway Commercial District, and from AG Agricultural District to I1 Industrial District. and the associated preliminary plat 20002 for 55 commercial lots with associated waivers, all on property generally located west of O and southwest 56th Streets. I would note that this is final action on the preliminary plat. Are there any ex parte communications to be disclosed?
I don't see any.
Are there any ex parte communications that took place or just additional information you learned while visiting the site?
No. All right. Tom?
Tom Jacob, planning staff. Be using the laptop. Our Elmo overhead is not working today. So this request, there's 3 requests here associated for a annexation, change of zone, and a preliminary plat at Southwest 56th and West O Street. The annexation is in this area down here. This part is already in the city limits. This area is approximately 18 acres. The change of zone is for AG to H3 and from AG to I1. The I1 area is about 15.5 acres, and the H3 area is 4.5 acres. As you can see, there is existing H3 and I1 to the west. The rest of this area that's within the annexation will remain AG. It's, for the most part, cannot be developed. It's a lot of drainage and floodplain area. Let's see. I'm going to switch to a different report now. The preliminary plat is for 55 commercial lots over approximately 153 acres. So the preliminary plat basically runs from approximately northwest 48th Street to almost to 63rd, southwest 63rd Street. The site plan shows, get it up here. We'll have 3 new streets accessing to West O Street. They're at, which would be Southwest 52nd, Southwest 56th, and Southwest 59th. All 3 intersections will require both left and right-hand turn lanes. And at Southwest 56th Street, there will be a traffic signal required when traffic warrants require it. And based on the traffic study submitted by the applicant, that could be anywhere up to 10 years before they anticipate the traffic necessitating a signal at that location. Just show you so this is the area down here on the south that's being annexed. The site plan currently shows 2 lots here, but there is a condition that these be left as an outlot. So this will be unbuildable in this area. Planning staff is supportive of the waivers that have been requested, except for the sidewalk waiver along O Street. We have had further discussions with the applicant, and based on those discussions, the applicant has now agreed to the sidewalks on O Street. That'll take any questions.
Oh, there you go, Dick.
Tom, can you just flip that up a little bit? Oh, keep going. On your previous area that you showed us, where it shows the 15 down at the bottom, on that previous picture that you showed us, there's either some buildings or something that's down there. Do you know what that is? It's back on the previous, whatever you had brought up previously, on the second.
I'm not sure.
There they are right there.
Might be some remnant buildings out there.
Yeah, they show up in that.
Yeah, maybe the applicant knows what those are.
Okay.
Looks like, I don't know, almost looks like they could be trailers
Or
of
Yeah.
some
trailers,
sort.
yeah.
Thank you.
Tom, I noticed that this land is in Tier 3. Is it in Tier 3 just because of the ag stream classification? Is that,
Yes, did look at that. It's in Tier 3 due to the floodplain issues, the ag stream corridor, and that's why we supportive of annexing it, but leaving it in an outlot that's unbuildable. Otherwise, if you didn't annex, you would have this island out there that's, you'd go through the city to get to it.
okay. I noticed that the staff reports talks about 3 lots taking access off of a private drive. Can you show me where that private drive is?
Yes. It's right here.
Okay. And then I know that also in the staff report, it talked about some kind of alternative to the easement through Lot 17, kind of on the eastern side. Has anything been resolved on that yet, or I didn't know if you would know if I should ask the applicant that one.
Yeah, right now they're showing an easement here and an easement through here. Well, this is off their property.
Right.
So they either need to show that there's an existing easement here to get to it. So our, one of the conditions was to provide an easement through here to get, because there's another lot down here that's not part of this preliminary plat, and they have to provide access to it.
Any other questions for staff right now? No? Okay, thank you. Applicant.
Good afternoon, members of the Planning Commission. Danae Kalkowski appearing today on behalf of the applicant. So we have 2 applicants here, DNR Development Inc., who owns the stuff kind of to the west of Southwest 56th Street, Roger Suizo, and Roger's in the audience today, and KDS Investments LLC, which are Dave and Karen Shoemaker family, and they have then basically east over to northwest or southwest 48th Street. Also today with me is Nate Burnett from Rega, so if we have any questions that he can handle when we're done. I mean, I think Tom gave a good sort of overview of the project. We're just providing for, additional development out here along West O Street on the south side, anticipating doing it in 3 phases. The first phase being centered right around Southwest 56th Street. So all of the right and left turn lane improvements would be done there. That's where we'd have our first final plan. That's where we've kind of got our zoning provided here today for the first phase. Anticipate ultimately there being, H3 zoning all the way along O Street, and then as you go further south, having the I-1 zoning kind of to the south. So a mix of uses, don't really have specified users at this time, but obviously the H3 and the I-1 provide for a wide variety of users out here. We will be working on an annexation or development agreement with the city here before City Council to address those improvements that are going to be needed at each of those intersections, because right and left turn lanes will be required in O Street for all 3 of those access points. I think everything else is pretty straightforward. We did request the sidewalk waiver initially, just looking around, there are no sidewalks existing on O Street. I think planning and urban development provided some additional information about plans that the city has in place to try and get some sidewalks installed on O Street out here to Northwest 48th Street. So it makes sense if they can get them there that we continue to have the sidewalk going to the west. Obviously, O Street is not improved to urban standards, so what we would be doing at the final time of final plating is just making a contribution to the city for the equivalent cost of sidewalks like we do around with a lot of arterial streets here that aren't yet improved to urban standards. I think all of the conditions of approval is listed and amended with the most recent staff reports are acceptable. And so we'd be asking for your approval of all 3 items. And if you've got any questions that Nate or I can help you with, we'd be happy to.
Danae, you probably don't know, but do you know what's down in that area 15?
I don't know. Roger?
There were some semi-trailers down.
Oh, some semi-trailers
Thank
were
you.
down there.
Thanks.
And you're okay with changing the access easement through
Yes.
that lot 17 or have easement on the other part? Okay,
Yes.
excellent. Okay,
Great.
anyone else? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Testimony in support of this application. Testimony in support. Okay, testimony in opposition. All right, any more staff questions?
No.
Remember anything that you forgot to say earlier, Danae? No?
I would move that we close the public hearing.
Second, Beckius.
Jerry?
Okay, Campbell,
Yes.
Edgerton,
Yes.
Joy,
Yes.
Ryman Yost,
Yes.
Shear,
Yes.
Beckius,
Yes.
Core.
Yes.
Motion carried, 7-0.
I would move that we approve the annexation 4.1A, which is 20006.
Second, Beckius.
Discussion, and feel free to discuss all 3 at the same time if you want.
I would just say that I think they're planning ahead very well here, and they're providing an opportunity for industrial users as well as highway commercial.
Yeah, I just want to second that. I think it's a good plan, and I appreciate you looking forward with some of the stuff that's being planned for Westo. I think that's a great thing to look into the future like that.
I think with industrial, it's nice to have a lot of pre-planning because they have a little more intensive uses. So this gives everyone in the area an idea that, you know, hey, this is going in there and we can plan accordingly. Jerry?
Okay, this is for the conditional approval of annexation 20006. Campbell,
Yes.
Edgerton,
Yes.
Joy,
Yes.
Ryman Yost,
Yes.
Shear,
Yes.
Beckius,
Yes.
Core.
Yes.
Motion carried, 7-0.
I would move that we approve the change of zone 20011 from Ag District to H3 and from Ag to I1.
Second, Edgerton.
Any further discussion? Jerry?
Okay, this is for the conditional approval of change of zone 20011. Campbell,
Yes.
Edgerton,
Yes.
Joy,
Yes.
Ryman Yost,
Yes.
Shear,
Yes.
Beckius,
Yes.
Core.
Yes.
Motion carried, 7-0.
Why don't you take the next one?
You're on a roll.
Move approval of the preliminary plat 20002.
Second, Joy.
Jerry?
Okay, this is for the conditional approval of preliminary plat 20002. And again, this is final action on this item by the Planning Commission unless appealed to the City Council within 14 days. Campbell,
Yes.
Edgerton,
Yes.
Joy,
Yes.
Ryman Yost,
Yes.
Shear,
Yes.
Beckius,
Yes.
Core.
Yes.
Motion carried, 7-0.
For anyone wishing to speak on an item not on the agenda, this has been suspended until further notice. I would call for a motion.
Move to adjourn.
Second, Joy.
Jerry?
Okay, Campbell,
Yes.
Edgerton,
Yes.
Joy,
Yes.
Ryman Yost,
Yes.
Shear,
Yes.
Beckius,
Yes.
Core.
Yes.
Motion carried, 7-0.
We are adjourned.